The honourable member for Sackville-Cobequid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Energy and Mines. Yesterday, fishers in Port Morion blocked the entrance to the Duncan mine because they say that the mine's coal shipping plan are going to put the lobster fishery at risk. This comes after a 200-person meeting of concerned fishers and community members last week. Lobster fisher Don Messenger told media, and I quote, "These bays are major breeding grounds. We put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into getting our fisheries into a sustainable state, and we could lose everything, Mr. Speaker," and I'll table that. Government has a role to play in coordinating development so that doesn't create creating jobs doesn't create community conflicts between industries. So I'd like to ask the minister, how is he and his government going? What is he and his government going to do to help bring a resolution to this conflict?
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Mines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for the question. And it is true, we have two industries that are very important to our communities that have coexisted for generations. We have hundreds of families who are supported by our very successful fishing industry, and we also have over 125 families directly supported by the mine, not including the spin-offs that come with it. I've had conversations with the leadership at the mine who have opened up and have been in constant communication with the liaison committee and the community with the fishers. What I've encouraged both groups to do is that we've coexisted for generations, get back to the table and talk.
The honourable member for Sackville-Cobequid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Port Morion community members and others have proposed a solution themselves. Many fishers agree that everyone would be happy to see the coal transported by rail. That's a solution with a little vision and leadership, could have various positive spin-offs for Cape Breton, Mr. Speaker. Charlie McLean from the Scotia Rail Development Society said there is a business case for the Cape Breton and Central Nova Rail Scotia Railway, and he supported moving the coal by rail to the Sydney port. The province still subsidized the rail line owners to keep unused tracks in place to maintain the possibility of a revival. So I'd like to ask the Minister of Business, what is he and his government doing to support the reviving of the Cape Breton and Central Nova Scotia Railway, Mr. Speaker?
The Honourable Minister of Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank the member for the question. Obviously, if there was any development on rail, that wouldn't be the current owner, Genesee Wyoming. This would obviously be a new rail line that would go from Donkin to the Sydney piers. But in follow-up and support of my colleague, the Minister of Energy and Mines, there's a number of options on the table here. We've worked across party lines with provincial officials, federal officials. There's lots of conversations here. The way to get this done is through diplomacy. We've got to continue the discussions. We don't need anything to derail the conversations that are taking place. So rail and marine and truck, all of these things are options. The discussions are happening and unfolding as we speak. And we're going to continue that dialogue. We can get to this together. Again, this is mining and fishing. This is what we do best, and we'll make sure we come to the right resolution so everyone wins and we continue to build and grow the Cape Breton economy. Thank you.